Welcome to the Dice Box and Tombstone Blues. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus for a variety of physical and mental health reasons, but we're back now, and we're in between talking about what comes next. We are currently dealing with the preacher man, doctor man, jackass thing. You can't really call him a man anything, but that's kind of what he's shaped like at the moment, so it'll have to do. Previously, after a confrontation between Jillian and Isaac, which ended up with Isaac cleansed, traumatized to the point of suicidal self-sacrifice, and then dead. Cassie being a lot worse off than I thought she was going to be because Jillian healed her with a tainted bullet stuck in her. They did find out a few things about the plans this preacher man has for the surrounding region, which is mostly between Bibles apparently imported by somebody's fiance's parents and probably somebody's parents, at least funding bits and pieces of that kind of bullshit, and the tainted ghost rock that somebody pulled out of the the Reckoner's domain because reasons. They're planning on making this whole Waste with a capital W region bigger. Not just your average, occasionally things come out of that area and we have to put them down. We're talking full on this kind of crap. They're already finding out that there are some spots in and around the edges of the Waste with a capital W that are spitting out some particularly nasty altered things. So they know they're going to have to deal with that. But the first thing they have to do is deal with this preacher man who, while probably not, the ultimate be-all and end-all boogie thing, because the ghost dance caused so much more problems than one dude. It's still a driving force behind something that's a little bit too big to really have wandering around. And of course, then they have to figure out what they're going to do with the ghost rock, assuming they can retrieve it. Because I don't think even Aloy wants to have it anymore.
You already dump trucked my eyesight. And it's a apocalypse in a can that I will keep in a can if I have to, but I would rather not.
They did have a discussion about certain aspects of the white boy god faith, being able to keep things in basically bottled by holiness, which is probably better than being bottled by muffin, given what that shit could probably do to muffin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary enough when you consider what muffin actually looks like, what muffin actually is and can do, but also, muffin's too sweet for that. You can't do that to muffin.
Yeah, that's the realization that pushed me into, I can if I have to, but I refuse!
So, yes, so when we left off the last time, they were on they were having the beginnings of a plan, which involved the heart thing that she pulled out of Isaac and somehow cleansed through the holy water of her tears into the preacher man. And a part of that plan is largely use Cassie as bait. But they also realize that the first thing they're going to have to do is deal with that toad demon thing that caused so much havoc, because the last thing they saw was it skipping off to apparently its home dimension. And all they really want to do with it is to send it away somewhere and then deal with the preacher man so that it doesn't have any reason to come back. So it's basically an exorcism kind of situation, but before they can do that, the first thing they have to do is draw it out. Unless they want to get broadsided by it when they're dealing with the preacher man. So what they have now is apple pie and summit meeting about exactly how they're going to approach the town. And, what they're going to do when they get there, which they actually have to consider, what's still there, what's going to be there, and basically they're kind of short on information. But they've still got a couple of hours before proper sundown, so they're okay for the moment. Town's not that far on good horses and muffin.
And we'd been talking about different exorcism methods, so I've been taking some notes.
Mm.
Okay, so
You may have to use all three of your various exorcism things, because the more oomph you can give it, the more power it's going to have. But it's probably going to have to be a stepping stone one after the other, because there shouldn't be as many Walking Dead people as there still are, but there still are. I don't know what the surviving townspeople did are going to do exactly. I know some of them survived. I know not all of them went.
I'm hoping as many get at least clear of the town for now as possible.
Well,
We'll hopefully have this place decontaminated for them relatively soon.
I don't think a lot of them managed to get out. I remember you killed a lot of his. He needs to rebuild his army.
Yep. At least I've got a few thoughts on the toad thing. At least to start with. If we're going to use all three of our skill sets for this, I'm thinking if I could construct something net-like or some kind of a binder to hold it in place that could then be used to channel what you two do.
Mm.
And just boost it that way.
Boosting is a thing, but I don't know if we have the materials you would need for that kind of thing. Couldn't you have that noisy thing?
I'm going to pull it out and hand it to her.
No, I don't need to hold it. It's just it makes a noise.
Uh-huh.
And it's the tone of the noise that changes that changes things, that makes things happen. The math, building things is how you pray, but mostly how you pray is the math. So if you could use the math to make a sound that it doesn't like, physically keeping it in one place is one thing. It's going to be angry, and it's probably going to want to try and squish somebody more than it's going to want to. But if you do that and you've got Muffin covering you,
I could definitely tweak this and add an amp to the front.
you wouldn't even need it to be that loud. It's just the sound has to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's what the amp to reconfigure the sound.
Does it need an amp? I thought you could just make. That does actually take it. Yeah. Isn't it all about the math? It needs to be about the math.
Yeah, it's gonna be about the math. It's just in order for me to add that math to it, I need to add a part to add the math. if I rework the math that's already there, it messes with the math that's already there, and I don't want to
No, it
risk
doesn't.
doing that.
No, it doesn't. It's just an adjunct to the math. Look for it. That's what'll make it have power.
Find the layer, I guess. I think it's what you're good at.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, make me an intelligence check.
I'm just going to be paging through my notes to do this, just to start doing the math. And how much scribbling is about to happen. In check. Boop.
And when you're hearing her say, just find the bit that, yes you can, and you're thinking to yourself, wait, yes I can, because there is this, there's prestidigitation is all about just the cleaning of the thing, and this isn't just a different kind of cleansing. And I felt your brain is starting to tick on, this is a thing that this is going to be a thing that on a limited scale, yes, but can cleanse nasty, and being cleansed is not nice. Nobody likes it. From none of those things like being cleansed, and yeah, I can. And then the numbers start.
Yeah, you just see you see me flip from like underlining some stuff to a completely blank page, and just an equation starts, and it's like really tiny writing, and it's just filling the page as I go.
And of course, very few of them are actual numbers, because
Reba just like sees that starting to form and just kind of smiles to her and just kind of nods and just like, yeah, there we go.
And catches Cassie's eye. She's still fairly pale, but she does give a little "did I do good" kind of smile.
And Reba's just like, oh yeah.
You two both know how to make demons go away.
Well, yeah, so usually it's straightforward, but
No, it isn't. Not just. You've banished things without that before. Sometimes it's just making the area uncomfortable. Let there be light. There was a shadow thing in a really nasty looking... There was green. There was green and you made light, and it probably would have died even if you hadn't shot it.
I'll be ready when the time comes.
And and looking at Reba, it's probably a little bit more focused on your thing. Papa keeps some supplies down in the basement. If you need to stock up on anything.
I'll take a look. Also, I know, out of character, I remembered her asking about doing something for her brother. I couldn't remember if he was already brought back from where we'd left the body,
You
kind of buried, or
you never did, and it's probably bringing Isaac back that's reminded you, because
Right.
she hasn't said anything because priorities, and again, really not feeling well, but she was perfectly happy to let you guys deal with a man she technically hasn't actually met before her own brother. And you're ticking you're thinking about the supplies, and you're thinking about, what you just did, because you're dealing with, the passage of spirits, and then you're like, oh shit.
yeah. That I just wanted to verify my out of character info before I played that in. So yeah. So she starts thinking, doing a mental count of like inventory of stuff she's got so she knows what to keep an eye out for when she does go take a look, and is like, crap. Turns to Cassie. We'll do much. We'll when we can. We'll bring Brent here. And do better, do more right by him now that we know what needs to be done.
It should be you. He had some church teachings, but we're a little bit of a mixed faith household. And I think he liked that one better. I think his was a little less your father's side, though. Just so you know. As you know, Papa didn't have quite the raising you did.
Still one of the better men that I've ever met.
He's been good to us. At least he's looking after the twins. He probably hates that. I mean, he's happy to be protecting his family, but I think he'd like to be protecting more of it.
You'll be back with him soon enough.
She just gives you a look and then goes back to her pie.
Yeah, Reba's just sort of eyebrow raised.
Jillian's not gonna say anything more.
Right.
My part doesn't have anything to do with Toad Man, so I probably should change clothes at least. When you need me for dealing with the preacher, I'll come down when it's time. But you guys need to talk about an approach. Keep in mind, like I said, he needed to bolster his numbers. It isn't gonna be pretty. You took care of a lot of the ones that had already been dead, and your mess with the Toad Demon took more. It's gonna be older people, younger people. Prepare yourselves for that now. Slowly thump, thump, thump up the stairs. And you're muted. Okay. And for a long moment, there is silence, bar the scratching of Aloy's pencil, because Aloy probably didn't hear any of that because she's in her own little world.
Nope. I'm still doing math. I'm still extending prestidigitation into banishment. Thank you.
I wish I could say this would be the first time I've had to deal with little ones in this state. Not as many at once, but not the first time. Can't say it's something I've gotten used to, that's for sure.
I imagine Jillian could say much the same if she was minded to.
Yeah, she's not minded to. That's for sure.
Yeah, all things considered, I imagine Jillian isn't minded to say much.
Nope.
Jillian is very seldom minded to say much, granted. Even when she probably should, because she's still in I am the only one who can mode, despite the two people who are sitting right there.
Yeah.
Someday somebody is going to thwap her upside the head so hard.
The math is now on page 2.
Yeah, give me another intelligence check. Just to see how interruptible you are.
Let's see how far down the madness place in fugue state I've gone.
Damn.
Yeah, no, the world is you're doing it. You're about done. The world is math.
Jillian, I'll give her another 5 minutes.
You're what's her face from the Librarians.
Oh,
Cassie, I
good
think.
God.
Yes, Cassie. Ironically enough.
Good God, I'm having a beautiful mind moment.
Okay, so the idea is to send this sucker away, but what are our options if it doesn't?
Shooting it until it stops moving. I mean, it either goes back to hell or we destroy what's standing here on this world. I don't know if we have many other options but that.
I don't know if that's in or out of character. Thing.
Oh, that's a little of both, because both in character and out of character, I'm like, there's got to be something else, but I'm just not. Neither one of us are getting it. There's got to be another option other than just assaulting it. But I'm
honestly not really.
Yeah, at the same time,
That's the thing. It's getting rid of it or shooting it until it decides to go away for a little while, and you don't know how long a little while is going to be.
I don't want to admit it because there's almost always more than one approach. But I mean, okay, we have more than one approach. But aside from that, I hate to say it, but I think you're right. I mean, aside from just assaulting it, I don't think there's anything else we can do. I mean, we did do it enough hurt before that it ran off, so we know at least we can do that much. The problem is doing that much while dealing with whatever else is with it.
No, I have to be quick, and if Aloy can restrain it or disorient it enough,
Well,
that's a good point in our favor.
Yeah.
Well, there's a thought. What if we just lasso the sucker?
Because it doesn't. That's the thing. You are the one who actually saw that it doesn't need its hands or anything to.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right.
So you're
Out of
like, what if
character.
we lasso it? It'll just.
Do it anyway. Yeah. It'll just breathe, and that's what it did, because that's what did it. Damn. All right. Doesn't actually. Fucking jumpy little.
Hard enough to lasso an ornery bull, much less a demon.
Jumpy frog, little toad, little.
Aloy is about finished with her maths, and what she is figuring out is this is going to be. She's only going to be able to do this with it, with the quick and dirty maths that she's done once. She'd have to replace a couple of the wires and do some things if she wanted to make that a permanent thing. That's basically just I'm giving you this for this chapter, but it's going to require more work and more time to get you to a level where you can have that as a regular thing. But it'll work this time. But now you have to do things with tools. So you have to tell them to do things with tools. So if they have any further information for you, it's best they give it to you now before you go into tool fugue.
He's just gonna checking my math, checking her math.
Yeah, she stopped writing. She's checking now.
So I've got a couple variables I can implement. They just need. Well, I need to know what the materials are because I got a great open spot here, pointing to one chunk of equation that's just got a couple parentheses up and just a blank space of a very specific size, and another one that's the same but vertical. So instead of being like it's this way for some reason.
Jillian stares blankly.
You're muted.
Staring blankly at the blank.
Spot.
Like, is there any kind of material that works for that, or any like for exorcism stuff? Because I'm gonna make the tweaks in a few seconds. If I can get the clippers out of Muffin.
Jillian, your guns and thus your bullets, and let's move to a completely different world setting here. Silver for monsters.
Jillian considers and then takes one of the silver bullets she has and hands that to Aloy.
Quick question: do you need this back?
No.
Good.
Unfortunately, unless you want to melt it down, which do you even have the space, time, or materials to melt it down? You're going to need. Let's face it. You're looking at this. You're going, okay, silver bullet, but because it's a bullet and it cannot be pure silver if it's being fired out of a gun. It's probably silver plated or a silver alloy. I need silver jewelry.
Then start futzing with the bullet because there's probably like the shell and. I need silver jewelry.
Prudence. Hard to imagine she would leave that behind if she had any.
Might be worth a look. Or checking in Louis' bits and pieces. Because, I mean, to be fair, even Reba knows that... I mean, to be fair, she weirdly knows enough about, medicine, etc. That the whole reason for that is that it's kind of, it doesn't take well to, like, bacteria doesn't stick to it.
Aloy, hold that thought. I'm going to go take a look at what Louis has on hand. I might be able to do something about that. And also, I can put together a little bit of what I generally go to for some of that. There's bits and pieces and things that need to get burned if you're doing it.
And frankly,
depending on how you're doing it.
You could also ask Cassie. She's not very old, but she might have a piece or two. And silver is more easily come by than gold for jewelry in this part of the world.
While I do that, Jillian, did you want to check? Maybe Cassie knows, or maybe she even has a piece or two.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah.
We'll start with Reba. Coming down to the basement. It's another one of those neatly divided setups, but it's a lot easier to tell whose is whose when you get down there, because one side is it's clearly a sewing corner. The bag of scraps, a basket of yarn, with knitting needles stuck in it. There's actually a loom, and there's a a rather nice bit of cloth being woven on that. And on the other side, there's and there is a little shrine to Gede. And you can see the little shot glass full of the rum and a chunk of very, very dark chocolate in it, and just a little carefully crafted wooden shelf that's just little drawers, and it's kind of I don't know, 3 feet by 6 feet. So you're pulling out, and it's little drawers, kind of like. To be fair, about each drawer is about the size of a shoebox. So
We're basically looking at sort of a card catalog type of situation.
Yeah, a little bigger than that.
Okay,
but
I got you.
Not by much. But it's just a little shelving unit with little tiny knobs that you just sort of pull, and it's very, very well organized for. I mean, basically. Any of the ritual herbs you can think of, they aren't labeled because he doesn't need to. But yeah, it's just bits of herb, bits of crystal, bits of. There's actually one where there's a perfectly crafted voodoo doll with a packet of pins. That one's kind of on a top shelf to apparently keep it out of the kids' hands. But you'll find the things that you need. And now we roll the hand of fate. That's a 1. No, there is no silver jewelry in there whatsoever. Clearly, he has melted it down for bullets.
Well, dang. I only got everything else. Okay, and so she has some sorted out, put together. Just okay. So this replenishes, and then that should be enough for Aloy. She needs more. Come back down. All right, cool. No silver though, but okay.
Yeah, because apparently Aloy doesn't need anything else. She just needs an extra a couple of connector pieces that will channel that kind of thing more efficiently. If you understood half of what she was babbling about properly,
exactly.
But
and then takes another look over with the yarn, just to seeing what material those knitting needles are made out of, just on the off chance. And it's like, no,
steel.
Dang. Okay. worth a look. So yeah, she'll head back up and look over at Aloy and hold up the pouch that she put together, and but
to be fair, that's for your end. All she needed was the silver.
Oh, okay. My bad.
I've already that's what I was trying to say before.
Oh, gotcha.
Any of the bits that you were picking up from there were the bits that you were picking up for you. You were looking for the silver for Aloy, but couldn't find any because, again, probably Louis had it all melted down for bullets.
Okay. Sorry. So then, she comes up, tucking it into her shirt or tucking it away into a pocket and just shaking her head, going, "It's probably got all melted down already."
Meanwhile, Jillian, you obviously know where Cassie's room is and where she keeps her things because you've been sleeping in it the last couple of nights. You'll find her kind of sitting on the bed, elbows on her knees, head down, just kind of. She's got change. She's just apparently that's worn her out. But she does kind of look up when you come in and go and just. With an effort, points at a small box on her dressing table.
Jillian pauses awkwardly, and then nods and goes up to the box.
It's a nice little jewelry box as it happens, and it's clearly homemade, probably by Louis, and little flower designs burned into various of the spots. Open it up, and there is one silver locket. No pictures in it yet. and a pair of earrings, which do have. You probably wouldn't know the stone, but they're kind of a off-white milky color, which if you hold up to the light sort of gives off some significant rainbow effect. You don't know exactly how much Aloy needs. It's probably safest to take both down, but at the very least the wire hooks on the earrings and the chain of the necklace are probably closer to what Aloy needs than your bullets.
Okay. So, pocket all that and then look back to Cassie.
Yeah, she has not moved, and incidentally, that empties out the jewelry box. And she just gives a little wave that apparently indicates I'll be down in a minute.
Jillian goes and sits next to her.
I'll be all right.
For what it's worth, this isn't something you should have been asked at your age.
It's not something anybody should be asked. You shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been asked of you either. But it was because you're not the only one who can, but you're one of the few. I am one of the few too. So are they. They just got asked by someone different.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't regret it. Even if this ends sooner for me than maybe it would have if I was just a normal girl. But even that's a maybe, because I'd still live here. It'd be worse because I wouldn't be able to fight.
Well, I've been told once or twice that we're not called to give more than what we're able to give.
I know what I'm able to give. I know what you gave. And you didn't think you were able to give it either. I wasn't really all that with it, but I seem to remember you saying I can't when you clearly could.
Lillian grimaces a bit. She pats Cassie's shoulder and then starts to get up.
Cassie lets her go, and it's probably not until Jillian's halfway down the stairs until she realizes she probably figured out the exact best thing to say to get me the hell out of that room.
And then
Some people just have abject silence and looks until they shut up and go away. Clearly, Cassie has learned to use words as kind of a pry bar. So it's sort of thump, thump, thump. Well, fuck. Back down. Let's get back down the stairs.
Jillian sets down the assorted bits of jewelry. You said it was the 2 earrings and the locket?
Yep.
Kind of looks to Aloy. Try not to use this unless you really need the silver. And she taps at the locket.
You're muted, Smeagol.
examine the bits. Give those a once over.
And now, once again, we roll the hand of fate. You just hate Cassie, don't you? You are aware that the stone is opal, and the stones in the earrings are opal, and in fact, you could probably use that as because you've got a bit of stone that's a focus in your sonic screwdriver, and you could probably get a bit more oomph out of it if you replaced what you have in there with an opal, just because of the way it reflects, and it'd actually work really, really well. You'd need to change a couple of variables, but it would increase the efficacy. But insofar as don't use it unless you really have to, you're gonna need to pull out Muffin's makeshift crucible and some method of heat, and basically you're gonna have to use every bit of that you can if you actually want this to work.
I'm just gonna look at Jillian. Shift the stuff a little bit to the side. Write into the blank spots what looks like an equation for silver's atomic number or whatever, both vertically and horizontally. And then I'm just going to...
That would be 47, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Then I'm just going to hold up the equation at Jillian.
Jillian stares flatly at her.
And yeah, Reba's sitting down after her apologetic and watching this go down and just being like, this is going to be one of those standoffs unless somebody says something. Because Aloy is convinced that this answers everything, and this answers nothing.
Aloy, please use your words. Small words.
Want to? Because trying to explain this is hard. And I know how y'all react to this. I'm gonna need all of it.
All right, then. I said if. Unless you need all of it. If you do, you do.
I'll start making the modifications. I'm gonna scoop this up. Scoop the jewelry up in the mouth. And Muffin, I'm gonna need the kit.
And yeah, I mean, it won't take too much work. It won't take too much work, but it will involve some very careful pulling out the little pin that keeps that acts as a hinge on the locket bits, and make me a Tinker's Tool check.
Yar. Nat 20.
You manage with minimal tweaking and things, because when you pulled out that pin, you were worried you were going to break it and have to fix it, but you managed to get it out whole, which means you could actually just use that piece without having to tweak it too much. And you've had to straighten out the earring posts, well, hooks really, but and you managed to get the opal out and straighten out some of the filigree that was acting as the setting for it. You've had to polish up the silver of the lockets and use them as kind of reflective surfaces around your new opal bit. So what you have left is a piece of opal. Not a very large piece of opal either, because they're earring danglies.
Just one little bit of opal, and the rest of it's just fitted to the...
it's more inside. It's kind of taking the place. It's either taking the place of wiring. It's wrapping components that were previously wrapped in copper and still kind of are. You've kind of had to. It takes you about an hour to do this, so you're starting to approach sunset, but you've got to go alternating wraps of copper and silver. And if this works the way you think it's going to, the silver's probably going to burn out, and that's why it's only a one-shot thing. You need some sturdier, specially wrought silver bits to make that work on a permanent basis. This is a quick and dirty one-shot, but it will, according to your maths, work now that you've got everything fitted together with the silver for monsters, etc.
And click. Aha!
But you probably don't want to switch it on too much.
Yeah, not turning it like I've just closed it.
Mhm.
Okay.
It doesn't actually look any different on the outside.
God, I love this form factor. Okay. And I'm gonna head back in after packing up the kit and giving Muffin some scritches, and also like a once over with a polishing cloth.
Polishing cloth is okay. It's when you bring out the hammer that Muffin is not very happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys, what have you been doing while occasionally looking out the window at Aloy doing weird shit with her portable workstation in Muffin?
How long have we been waiting?
About an hour. And again, by the time she's finished, it's coming up close-ish to sunset.
Jillian cleans her gun, has a think.
Hey, Jillian.
Hmm.
When we do finally deal with the preacher or doctor, whatever the hell he is this week, ass. These last little conflicts of, the animals and things that I can pull up have been helpful, but the last time I did that when we were dealing with him, you caught the worst of it, so I'm loath to want to do that this time around. Also, he rendered us deaf and dumb pretty damn quick, and I'm just wondering how in the hells we're going to need to deal with that, because we did not deal with that very well last time. Well, you deal with it well, except for the blind part, but it's not like you need to actually make a noise.
Actually, no, it affected her pretty well because she couldn't use the
stares at her.
because
She don't know.
No, you will think about it for a minute, and it's like, wait a minute, there's a lot she didn't do. The word, it cut off the word.
The word. Right. My bad. Sorry, Jillian. My bad.
You do hear a sort of a thump, 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 and Cassie sort of comes down the stairs, leans on the doorframe. I think I can handle that.
Reba just kind of does a bit of a double take, just sort of blink, blink, blink. All right. I'm not questioning.
I just want to be sure. Cast something that stays.
All right. Let's see. Where is? Oh,
Well, to be fair, Jillian could probably do it better because she's got things that last that are cantrips, like light.
There you go.
Jillian casts light on a bullet and puts it on the table.
Mutters something under her breath, waves a hand, and the light goes out. Out of character. Dispel magic is great.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I mean, if it keeps throwing out things, I won't be able to do all of them. But you're going to need to give me a signal if it's something that you really need me to take down. What will you do to let me know that it's something that really needs to be taken down? Because if it doesn't let you speak, you can't ask, and it'd be better if it doesn't know. And just so that you know, Ethan, you are muted.
Oh, sorry. I was just going right. But if it does, well, obviously darkness would be one that's pretty obvious and definitely is a thing that would need to be dealt with. But the silence
Not
is not
necessarily. I am not the only one who can deal with darkness.
right. Point.
It's
We
the
need
silence and
yeah, we need something. There's a difference between being cast into darkness and being made blind.
that.
Ooh,
It's
point.
the blindness and the silence that were the problem.
Or if it slows down your movement. You've
Mm,
had that before too.
Mm. That would complicate things as well.
So I need a signal. Even if it's just a particular hand gesture, something I can hopefully see.
I mean, I'm assuming with Reba's background, she knows a number of various signals we use when hunting. Among the people, various types. So, I mean, and she'll do one for like warning or something. I'm not sure
It
what that
should
would
be a
be.
little less complicated than that. It really is just, even if it's just a hold up your hand in a fist, as in a sort of wait kind of thing.
That'll work. Yeah.
And
So she'll.
if you want it to really get the point across, hold hand and then spread out fingers, just so you know there is a thing. It needs to be gone.
Yeah. So that should illustrate that as there's a thing. Like note, make it gone.
Make sure to tell Aloy too.
Will do.
I'm gonna go sit down. Pat pat. Yeah, given how Jillian found Cassie before, she's probably looking a little bit concerned. This is Mitch.
Jillian.
Yeah, and Reba's catching that, given. Hello, dear.
Sorry, I had to lean over, and make a little room. Okay. Well,
And you,
anyway.
but as Cassie's heading out, Reba's watching Jillian just lean and keep an eye on her until she hits the parlor.
All we can do is trust that she'll be all right when she says she's going to be all right. I mean, I could probably
And
do a
she
little more.
hasn't said shit about that. Reba knows that better than anybody.
I know.
You're muted.
Jillian
Reba's getting
says,
used to Cassie, and Cassie's already once told Reba, "I'll be fine." So,
Well,
but seeing Jillian have the same expression Reba had when last time Cassie said that is like, yeah, she said she was fine. And Jillian, I can tell Jillian's feeling the same way about that fact that I did. So it's like 2 and 2. It's like, yeah, Jillian, I know that feeling. There's sweet fuck all we can do, really. I mean, I could try to help, but she's just got to take the time that she doesn't have right now to get better.
I know. We have our own preparations to make. We need to save our strength too.
And
Aye.
let's face it, without her, you guys are now pretty screwed. And we'll say it around that point. You've got Aloy coming in with her apparently unchanged sonic screwdriver.
I was gonna walk over, put it on the table.
Okay,
So
look,
it's ready.
I may not be as smart as you, but I'm also wise enough to know you did something, even though it doesn't look any different.
Yeah. Hang on. And I'm going to go to the one panel that is still more freely openable, pop it open, and show the spiral.
Yeah, there's. I mean, you're seeing the bits of actual locket having been repurposed. One of the bits of opal, couple of which is held in place by bits that were probably the pin for the hinge for the locket and the earring posts, and below that there's a spiral of what used to apparently be just copper and is now sturdy copper with somewhat less sturdy looking silver chain from the
I'm not going to say. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ally.
Can't really make much of a test run because the minute I hit on with this, it's probably going to burn out all the silver.
This is what's the one-time thing? I take it.
I need to spend like a couple of days in a proper smithy or a lab just making the fittings.
Yeah, I mean,
Understood.
to be fair, the everything but that silver chain will hold for longer. It's just that bit of silver will burn out. It'll still be usable for the other stuff, but until you have to hit banishment mode, you cannot switch it on. Once you've banished it, you can use it exactly as you have for everything else. But right now it is set to banishment configuration, and you have to use it as banishment configuration basically before you do anything else with it, because it'll just set itself to that as it currently stands.
Yeah, the way it's fitted, I'm not doing much or anything with it until I fire it the way it's configured now, because that's gonna burn through the bits that'll burn out, and then it'll either I think the ejection port will work right for those bits, but everything else is just gonna stay there, and it's gonna finally be able to switch modes, because a couple of those there's a couple more pieces in here that basically have it locked in that configuration until, well, they melt.
Well, I can't say I understand it, but it looks like really good work. Considering you had an hour and you're using makeshift bits, well done.
This just keeps reminding me that I really, really, really need, like, to keep my head on straight in an actual city long enough to make some more bits.
And maybe make some friends with some smithies rather than breaking into their lab, into their forge and making use. Remembering that one time.
Yeah. Just gonna shift the eye a little bit.
Hey, I'm not knocking it. It worked.
It would have helped if she hadn't actually stolen a fairly expensive chunk of opal from him, which is still in your kit to this day, Reba.
Oh, Aloy. Cassie can help with some of the. Remember when he rendered us blind and deaf and dumb during our last encounter? Cassie's can potentially help with that. If
and
there's
the
some.
slow.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, Aloy will remember the slow better because Reba couldn't see the slow.
Right. Basically, if there's something ongoing that needs to be dealt with, it's make note, make it gone. So remember that.
Okay. At least we now have an answer for the bubble of stupid.
And Spot is just... She's making awful light of something that means that the nice girl is going to have to be right in the middle of the trouble more than she already is. That's rude.
You realize you're.
I know. I know. I'm just trying.
Okay.
How do you know? You don't know what she's
Because
about to say. This is Spot.
No, it's more of a case of Aloy realizing that it does sound like it does gonna sound like I'm making light of this. I'm just really trying not to. Once again, redouble the level of concern that we're forced to deal with because this girl can see the future and she's got this whole thing.
And
essentially,
at this point,
we are not allowed to.
Yeah.
Poke, essentially, if we screw it, because I'm just trying to not think about it as hard as possible.
Right. And by this point, Alloy's probably familiar with the look from Reba anyway.
True.
So
that's very true.
So it's fair.
Very
true. I know it's just.
All right.
Thinking about it hurts. Okay.
Okay. That's fair. I get it. It's okay. Breathe.
Like finally lets out the breath.
Like I told Jillian, Cassie says she's going to be fine, and there's really not much else we can do. All we got to do is try to give her as much time as we ain't got for her to get better. I know the ancestors will do their best to look out for, and I know we will. And kind of glances at Jillian, and I'm assuming.
Yes.
All right.
So for actual planning bits, I think Jillian and Reba would have had this discussion. You have a couple of options. You can wait until dark and go, or you can go now and see what happens to the town as the sun goes down.
Jillian would definitely want to go before sunset.
There's wisdom in that, definitely. So
it's sort of when Aloy comes in, you've both pretty much come to that decision, but it does mean that you kind of have to leave now and find appropriate spots in town. So you go at Aloy going, I know, I don't want to think about it. Okay, how do I not think about it? What's the plan? Aloy?
Plan.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is it?
We're riding out real soon.
Yeah. Well, non-existent watch. Sorry, I keep doing that. I apologize. I realized as soon as I did it, I was like, "Wait a minute, sorry." Pretty much about now. The idea is we're going to be in the town when night falls, and we'll see what changes occur. Actually, that's a question. Do we want to be in the town proper? Do we want to be in sight of the town?
Jillian's done more of this kind of hunting before. The best sight you're going to get on the changes is going to be in the town, in the center of town. And you won't be able to see that from the outskirts just because of how the town's laid out.
That's fair.
You go right into town.
Let her say it.
You go right into town before they have a chance to. Before whatever is left has a chance to find somewhere to hide ahead of us, more than they're hiding already.
Oh man, it's gonna be a retread of the zombie buffalo again.
Possible.
You were right in the middle of everything.
Sometimes that's where we need to be.
Just as long as I don't end up in front of anything with more arms than it should have again. I mean, I've dealt with people throwing hands, but that was just ludicrous.
DM.
Kind of
she's gonna kill us all.
Looks over at Aloy, just waiting for Aloy's reaction to that.
Instead, you have Spot kind of not quite digging claws into the knees, but
all right,
enough
all right,
to feel
all
it.
right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, okay, okay, all right, okay.
Am I staying here? And if you have to ride out of town in a hurry, you can go past it and I can find you. But you're just gonna worry about me if I go with you, because I am small and made of fur. I mean, I could throw myself at a zombie face.
No. No. If yeah, be close enough that you can catch up with us quick if we do have to leave fast.
Just
although if we have
leave town by this way.
True. Okay. Looking at Reba and Aloy, if for
Reba
some reason,
and Aloy?
Sorry, Aloy and Jillian. Sorry. If we have to leave town quick, we're gonna come back this way. Spot's gonna stay behind.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, and I'm not leaving her behind.
I would have hidden the big metal mule, but I think the big metal mule might get crunched a bit, and I'd probably bounce around the inside.
It's a dimensional pocket, Lessa.
Well, there is a pocket of that type in Muffin, but Spot could find a place to curl up in Muffin, but Muffin would, if there's anything large, Muffin may end up getting an awful lot of dents.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Reba's like, Spot made comment of, potentially hiding in Muffin, but no, bouncing around and getting hit. No, that just wouldn't end well for anyone involved.
Gears and just a thing about the you've seen how I pull more stuff out of Muffin's storage than should be in there. That's a place that I don't think anything alive should be inside of.
Duly noted.
Spot doesn't understand any of that. It's just things are in Muffin, things come out of Muffin. I could be in Muffin. Besides, if Aloy vanishes into Muffin up to the waist half the time, then it must be safe for living things, right? Perfectly logical. And yeah, that's probably what Reba is doing to Spot. Well, she still has a chance.
Oh, and regarding the bullet Jillian gave me, that ended up in its own little capsule like the other like the two prior.
Why? It's her silver bullet.
Well, I pulled it apart. I haven't put it back together yet. That requires me putting like powder in and stuff, so it's ended up in a capsule so I can do
Okay,
that.
that's fair. And she has the infinite ammo pouch anyway, so it's just you didn't explain why you were putting it in a separate container. You were just likening it to the tainted bullets, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm putting it, I'm just making sure it has its own separate spot because I haven't.
Sometimes more words to explain why you're doing the thing, instead of liken it to something that is not in any way the same situation.
Yeah.
Remember that I am on an awful lot of painkillers just to be vaguely functional, and my brain isn't working quite as fast as it might, so I can't always 100% translate Smeagol into English.
Yeah, I'm gonna reorder explanations a little bit.
Translate Smeagol into English. I love that.
It's
pretty
a
accurate.
thing.
It's pretty accurate, yeah. I mean, I haven't known you as long, but yeah, sometimes it has to be done.
To be fair, sometimes it has to be done to everybody. I'm just better at I'm better at translating myself into English than sometimes, particularly if that's the thing. I seldom have the time to do so when I'm in one of those situations where I have to explain myself. So I learned to do it fast. And in a way that isn't going to piss anybody off. Anyway, point being that now that I understand what Aloy is doing, basically, she's holding up this vial and going, so I can put it back together for you. And Jillian's like, you gave me a never emptying ammo belt. Why do I care?
Jillian just pushes it back. It's fine,
Aloy will remember about the infinite ammo belt eventually. Because she was very proud of having made the thing.
Click, 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 clunk, whirr.
Ah, there it is. I was wondering when you were going to remember that.
Are you ready to go, Aloy?
Yes.
Keep in mind, it's more this now because you wear glasses now.
Yeah, so it's like, yes.
Actually, to be fair, you haven't been wearing glasses for very long. You probably still do, and then smudge your glasses.
It's just like now it's askew and ow.
To be fair, you slap that hard, pressing the glasses into your face is gonna hurt. Hello, we who speak from experience. I'm.
Yeah, it's sort of why the.
I actually haven't done it. I've been wearing glasses of some kind since I was 12. And, full-time glasses since I was 17.
Fair. I've done it once or twice, although, to be fair, I'm more likely to not be having them on and go, am I wearing my glasses? Wham! Oh, I'm not. Ow.
My eyesight is too bad. And also, I'm so used to because they're varifocals, they're still a little heavier than the average, even though they're much more lightweight material than they used to be, and my bifocals used to be. But it still means I can feel them on my face.
My problem is I feel them when they're not there.
Believe me, if you ever get your own pair, and from what you've been saying, it sounds like you will not have that problem.
Okay.
In any case, so yes, we're at about the halfway mark. So we will take a break, and when we come back, we will set up your investigation / potential assault, depending on what happens and what y'all do about what happens in town. And we're back, rousing Cassie, who's still doing that sort of sit down, elbows on knees, head down, kind of slightly wheezy sounding kind of thing, but gets up when whoever's going in to tell her that they're ready to go. Not so much she doesn't know from the unsurprised look on her face, it's more she's taking every second she can. Who am I riding with? Am I that bad a riding companion?
No, Cassie, come on.
Well, if everybody else is doing the silence thing, so what else is she gonna say? So yeah, so Cassie rides with Jillian again, and off you head towards town. Are you bringing the horses into town? Are we remembering what happened last time?
Yeah, I'll leave them out of town.
Yeah, you had Jillian sort of riding sort of up to around about the outskirts of town and then stopping with this look of, oh.
Mhm.
Kind of figured that was why you ended up with a new friend, as it were.
Mm.
Yeah, there's a.
Oh, this.
Mm.
I almost forgot.
Mm.
I'm not sure when we had a long rest previously, or if I just forgot to.
You did not have a long rest. You had a short rest. So if anyone needs to
Okay.
roll hit dice, then you can.
Okie doke, I'm all set then.
Jeez. You guys. However this ends up, you guys are, just gonna, you get out of Dodge. However you get out of Dodge, and you are crashing.
Okay, that works.
Okay. So after you guys have rested up moderately well, and the food has done wonders. You get to the edge of town and you have Jillian kind of stop, and thankfully there is a house on the outskirts of town where you can sort of makeshiftly tie the two horses that you two have, because the one you can't leave behind is Muffin. And so there you are, on foot for the most part, on the edge of town. Are there going to be attempts at sneaky? I mean, I'd thought you guys were going to find some quiet spots and watch what happens in the town square before you did much of anything. Just to assess the lay of the land, but if you're not going to do that, then by all means let me know and you can just storm right on in.
I'm very much going to try and duck into a sneak.
Yeah, all right, we'll sneak.
I want to be in a bush,
There are no
All right.
bushes.
Well,
or what passes for one.
hang on. All right, never mind then.
Well, no, if you're doing,
We're just gonna do pass without trace,
you,
y'all.
you can do, and we'll keep the roll.
Okay.
But can we please remember to wait until I call for rolls next time? Few of you do this. I wish you'd stop. So yes, if you're sneaking, roll me stealth with a +10.
Damn.
Muffin?
All right, Muffin's gonna pull up Muffin for deck stuff because that sheet gets all over everything. But roll 20. Roll 20. Stop being an ass. It shrunk my sheet. There we go.
Pat, pat, pat.
Like, not minimized, but
It's okay.
worse.
Just you'll figure it out. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm not getting agitated. I'm just...
You sounded pretty agitated.
Yeah, no, that was just me doing the emphasis thing that I tend to. I get loud like Ethan does every once in a while.
Yes, but that's a sign of agitation?
50-50, and that's...
Ah, yeah, okay. I mean, Pass Without Trace is kind of helping, but Muffin's kind of... Muffin is Muffin, okay? Muffin is made of metal.
I rolled a 2.
And occasionally, just because of the sheer unsettling quiet of this town at just coming up to sundown, that you do have Muffin occasionally just going boop, boop, boop. Because he doesn't understand why it's cold and, well, not physically cold, but foreboding. There is very much a sense of bode as you sneak as much as possible with a big metal mule into town. And it really is just deathly quiet. And you've been in towns around sundown before, and generally there's been at least some activity around the saloon. But as you're getting into closer to the center of town, you do hear something from various points. Given the buildings and the silence of the rest of it, the sounds are bouncing off various walls too much to be able to tell how far away they are and where, but it's scuffling, sounds of protest, the occasional scream. Give me a perception check. Oh, Reba.
Too busy concentrating on being sneaky.
That's true. Jillian's almost got it, and Cassie's base roll outdid you all. Not by that much, but add her wisdom mod and but Muffin, I didn't say for Muffin because Muffin can't tell you.
I didn't even click the right button anyway, which makes this funnier.
In any case, Jillian gets the general idea that those might be heading in the direction of the church. Yet Cassie putting a hand on Jillian's arm and going, I think everybody who's still human is going to be at the church tonight. And I don't think they're going to be human when they come out.
We need to find that toad demon thing.
We need to get its attention. Wait. Watch. Find some place to surprise it, I guess. This as you're approaching the actual town square as is seen in map.
Right, if you can bring him here, we'll have plenty of room. And she
Not me.
looks-
Just wait. Watch. It's not what I can do, it's what I know.
All right. Jillian looks for some cover with whatever's left of the market stalls.
There's actually been some work to patch some of them up. Although the bits around the general store haven't exactly been touched because I think people were a little bit concerned about the soot marks on the ground and the occasional bits of bone, which are still there. But yeah, everything from sort of there down is still available and still pretty much untouched.
Jillian will look down around here then.
Okay.
And provided if it's feasible in behind this thing.
Gonna have a hard time fitting Muffin in there.
And Muffin, I'm gonna park down here.
A little easier, but
I'm gonna shift my gun to lightning config and just hope
you'd already, but hang on, if the toad, okay,
You said thunder was immune.
fair, okay.
And and fire has already been something that's been demonstratedly an immunity, so I'm just going, well, I've got one left. Until I can build a whole rainbow into this thing, I'm just gonna pick one and pray.
That's fair. Reba?
Not wanting to crowd too much. What's this area look like?
Pretty clear so far as you've been able to tell.
Okay. then I'll put myself there. Can I if I put myself there, can I still see all of us? Or at least the spots where we are, if not actually see us.
More or less, yes. Yeah, let me.
I'm just looking at this, and I think that's the only spot that's really going to give me any cover because everybody took everything else.
Oh, Cassie's gonna tuck herself in around here. So Reba's. I mean, you're all still pretty bunched, but.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to not bunch up, but at the same time, there's not a whole lot of options for cover, looking at the map at least, that I can tell.
I mean, bushes.
Oh, is that? Oh, I didn't realize that's what. I didn't realize that's what those were. I'm sorry. Let me zoom in a little more. That might help. I zoomed out. Okay, and then and maybe right there instead then. Now that I know that those are bushes, I didn't realize they were.
Yeah, they're very decidedly bushes.
Okay, then yeah, I'll crouch down in amongst the greenery. It's one of the few times tonight I probably will feel like I'm in my element.
I need a set that's going to give me actual toad people.
Here's hoping Tailspire helps with that.
At some point. But,
Duly noted.
It's not very long after you guys have tucked yourselves away. Although, give me stealth, and this time, pass without trace cannot help you because Reba's too far away. Muffin. This Muffin, unfortunately, is keeping an eye out. So, but for Muffin, that's head up and boop.
And this is the one time I hit the right button.
Boop.
This is great.
So, yeah. You. I'll have to borrow a lizard man. It's not very slot-like, but it'll have to do. And if I recall correctly, how big are these little fucks? Yep, I was right. Large. Comes marching down the road, herding two small children, around 8 and 10. Looks at Muffin, who looks back and boop, 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 boop.
I love you, Muffin.
And yeah, okay. Hang on. Well, Cassie at least is moderately safe this time, and 5, 10, 15, 20, and so is Reba. Can Aloy, Muffin, and Jillian make me dex saving throws, please? Aloy and Jillian managed to duck. So that's 86. $13. So Jillian and Aloy only take 14 points of fire damage, whereas Muffin takes 27. And I would like you all to roll me some initiative, please.
18.
Remember we had to talk about not giving me your numbers until I ask you for them?
Sorry, my apologies.
Thank you.
Just double checking. I took how much damage?
You took 14. Muffin took 27.
Muffin is. Wow, Muffin's a wreck.
You didn't take... You could have told me you were taking the time to repair Muffin as part of your short rest.
No, not downed a wreck. I mean, just damaged
Well,
a lot.
yes.
Down to pretty low.
Yes, but that does not change what I just said, Smeagol.
Yeah. Also true. I just wanted
Smeagol,
to be
just
sure
roll
I was
the-
understood.
Smeagol, just roll the damn initiative.
Working on it. I misheard the damage initially and wanted to be sure.
You're over-explaining again.
There's that one. And Jesus. I guess the dice decided to compensate for the whammy.
Okay. Aloy, you've just had a fireball flung at you, and it has significantly inconvenienced Muffin.
Okay, are there any of the nearby buildings that seem relatively empty for now?
All of them appear to be empty. Remember, it's very quiet.
That was most... Gotcha. Okay, so they look empty. So general store, nobody in there?
Well, the general store was the one that had all the immolation shit happening in it. That's that one.
So that's... Oh, general store's over there. Okay.
Yeah, that's the inn.
My goal is to just tell Muffin to go into a door. Just go in there. I will effect repairs as soon as I can.
Okay. But that's on Muffin's turn, and I'm
yelling that order to Muffin and then moving.
Yes, but you can do that as your turn, as Muffin's turn, not yours.
Got it. Okay, so I'm gonna move. Well, screw it. I'm gonna stick in cover.
Mm-hmm.
Pop up as much as needed, and this is the toad. This is definitely the toad thing. Yes.
Yes. You two are the ones who properly saw the toad thing. Jillian didn't get as good a look at it.
Well, I'm just gonna start with Plan A. Screwdriver out. And just yelling, "Go away, go away, go away, go away, bip."
Okay, this is a hand of a fate situation. The toad thing does not look happy. At all. Muffin, given what you've said, is just gonna do its dash action and smash his way into the inn and hostelry.
Beep, beep.
Cassie is... I mean, none of you can actually see what she's doing because she did a terrible lot of stealthing. And the toad demon thing looks even less happy. For Reba, though, there is a definite feel of this is more of the Loa thing. This is somebody has pulled out the guides, the ones who will basically grab you and drag you bodily if they have to. The toad thing probably isn't going to actually attack. Is in enough discomfort. Oh, I forgot about Reba, but Reba's kind of after this thing, so yeah. I mean, it's clear to you too that the banishment is ongoing. I mean, you saw Aloy start it, and while it's not in Jillian's bailiwick, if you like, there's definitely the feel of, be gone from this place. The toad demon tries to take a swipe at the two kids, but it's in enough discomfort that he misses in both cases, and those two just take off and bolt. No idea where those two have gone. They're back down the road, and Reba.
Okay. Is there what I'd like to do is somehow bolster what Cassie did, but I don't know
Yeah,
how.
but this isn't a... That's because there isn't a mechanic for this in D&D. Exactly.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right, then.
So this just tell me that that's what you want to do, and I will hand a fate roll it the way I did for Smeagol if you had been paying attention.
No, I was asking if I... Sorry.
I understand why. I'm just saying pay attention, and let me know in character how you're going to bolster, and then tell me you're going to bolster, and I'll make the call for the roll up until then. Remember, this is so homebrew now that...
Sorry. I understand where I slipped up. Okay. So, having that feeling come over her, she was going to directly at it, but then feeling them there, she, and still being ducked down, she's gonna risk fate and close her eyes, and try to center herself and reach out herself to the ancestors and the guides and all of that, and try to render her influence, or what influence she can, to, I guess, boost their strength or their presence or what have you. Just, like I say, help with what Cassie is doing. I'm just not sure how that would... how she would actually do that, because I don't walk this path myself out of character. So.
To be fair, while bolstering... You're wise. While bolstering what she's doing is one idea, it would be better to have more reinforcements, because she has no control over the strength of the Loa. So instead of calling on the ones that are already here, she calls upon the ancestors on her father's side.
Right.
And
that does make more... Yeah.
Those do add yet more. And for Jillian, this is probably around about the time I could be gone. Is because this thing is already just between the power of maths and some various other bits and pieces that Jillian, being a good quasi-Protestant servant of the Lord, is really not all that sure she's comfortable with. But whatever it is, it seems to be working. So now she just needs to finish it off.
Just
She does.
Jillian?
I don't think she has to get that close.
No, she doesn't have to, but the power of Christ compels her.
Oh God, I hate you so much. 5, 10, 15, 20,
Dios
25.
mio,
Yeah,
why?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yeah, you can get
It's,
about to. You're sort of standing on
she's
on a bench.
advancing,
Yeah.
marching forward with her hand out and the thundering, "Return to the pit from whence you came."
And this thing is a little bit of a toss-up what actually removes it bodily from the from the plains, but it certainly goes, but the sense is that there's so many different forces casting it off of the mortal plane. They're just not. You're still not 100% sure where it went and by whose hand. It's just kind of just point.
Given it's just vanished, is my screwdriver smoking?
A little bit.
Pop open the vent.
Yeah, the more smoke at that point. Yes, just poof.
Hand flail to clear it.
Once you look inside, yeah, you see the chain from Cassie's locket is so much burned metal, and a couple of the bits that were holding the opal in place are kind of twisted up. And you can remove the unfortunate bits easily enough, and it'll still work as it did without the spending an hour to make everything work. And now you have your notes, so you know how you could permanently do it again with time and tools enough. But your one shot of banishment is now done.
I'm going to produce one of the smaller plier things and just start carefully removing Fraggle Rock pieces.
Yeah. And as Aloy starts doing that, it's funny. Is the minute her pry bar, the mini pry bar thing hits the thing, you hear this enraged scream.
Jillian
That
looks to
just-
the church.
Yeah, it seems to emanate from there. And while you can't see anything that's made that sound, it does appear to have rolled over the entire town.
What?
I think the preacher man is not very happy that we did that.
Good.
Should we duck into the inn and seat a muffin real quick
Well,
and rest ourselves for?
oh, he's not going to come to us.
Working faster, working faster.
You want to do that with a table and probably more to muffin.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, I'm basically
inn.
gonna stomp towards the inn and where Muffin busted the door down.
And sort of looking at you with a surprisingly pathetic look on his big metal face. Boop.
And just set down the
Yeah,
screwdriver.
you've cleared out the things, and it's finally stopped giving off smoke. It's okay.
Okay, and then I'm going to fit it back together and just start breaking out repair kit and seeing what I can do.
Okay.
I'll cast mending on bits. I'll prestidigitate whatever got melted.
I'm doing math. Thank you. With the time that you have, how badly was Muffin hurt?
Muffin was down to 6.
Okay, he's got 34 hit points left. He got 34 hit points back out of your quick-ass repairs.
Whew.
So it's up to 40.
Yep. That'll do for...
Yeah, but it's gonna take a good 15 minutes.
Jillian casts 10 points of lay on hands on herself.
Cassie's just kind of slumped in a chair. At least I didn't have to get too close to him. Miss Aloy, are you okay?
Well, the fire barfing didn't really explode on me too much, so I'm okay.
It does sort of pat you on the shoulder, and you get 16 hit points back.
Perfect.
Pat.
I am pretty well up there now. You know I'm never going to be able to thank you enough, right?
I know.
Continuing fixing Muffin, and if there's any like if the inn has any of those like little metal sidebars or anything, I'm just yanking bits of that off to use as patchwork pieces.
You can there's lots of little bits of fixture, and because Aloy is what Aloy is, the depth of meaning in Cassie's I know we passed by her entirely. Probably not so much Jillian and Reba, however.
It's a negative modifier to my wisdom.
And you are concerned about a Muffin. Muffin is part of the family. It's fine. Muffin is our Flitty. Let's face it.
Yeah, except I don't think the Helm of Comprehend Languages works on Boop.
I'm dying. Excuse me.
Well, since you've never found one, you couldn't say for sure.
That's a point.
I mean, for all we know, Aloy could have accidentally created a language of Boop. Yeah, you're right. If anybody could, it would be Aloy, and it would be entirely an accident.
I swear I love you, all you lunatics.
But yes, in the 15 minutes where Aloy is scavenging bits off the bar, what are you guys doing?
Goes back outside, sits down on a step and keeps watch and prays.
Yeah, it's now completely quiet. Whatever gathering up of the people is done, and if things bear out, and unless they were ganked on the way, there was only 2 small children who were survivors of that whole thing. Or at least didn't get dragged up. You don't really know what's happening to the people who went to the church, but it's not like they were given a choice, so hey. Is Jillian praying for anything in particular, or is she just kind of...
Strength and guidance. Usual.
Okay, make me a wisdom check, please. Yeah, she's got a general sense of being watched over, but there's no particular guidance of any verbal or recognizable type forthcoming. Apparently that is being reserved for the seer. And, the RNG hating you.
He's somewhat distracted looking towards the last remnants of all the zombies.
Yeah, that particular spot, yeah, that's...
Mm-hmm.
This is not a fun day, and you haven't had... You have... To be fair, even if you had the time to get some sleep, you wouldn't have been able to anyway, so... Reba, what are you up to?
Speaking of the seer, Reba is checking on Cassie and just making sure she's holding up okay. I don't know. I mean, like I said, she's not damaged, so no healing will do anything, but just generally, moral support and giving her, like, I guess the equivalent of a medicine check once over type of situation.
Well, make me a medicine check.
Sure. Okay. Six.
You can't tell. She's probably not doing well, but she's pulling a Jillian.
You keep saying she's fine, and there's nothing I can say.
Well, no, that's the thing. She doesn't even say she's fine. It's just kind of... She walks the walk, basically, and she's not as... The reason you can't really recognize it is because she's not as vehement about I'm fine as Jillian is, so it's difficult to tell. I mean, you can tell that she's not moving unless she has to, but that could just be resting up for a big confrontation because it's been a long day and she's 13.
Okay, yeah, so just doing that for a few moments and not getting anywhere and not noticing anything out of the ordinary. We'll sit down and do whatever consultation she can in terms of, watch over Cassie, and do we have a chance in any hells of even pulling this off? And like,
make me a wisdom check.
9.
You're also not key. But what you're basically doing, what you're basically getting is, you have a chance, you're not gonna like it. Which, to be fair, is more than Jillian got anyway. But it's not something you didn't already know.
Yeah, exactly. So she just gets a look in her face with her eyes closed, just like, yeah. I don't like most of them, so all right. Yeah, I figured. Oh well.
So the 15 minutes Aloy's trashing of the bar later. I mean, she's taken apart a couple of bar stools for screws.
Any of like the underbar bars, just chunks of it gone and unraveled.
Yep, there's some alarming noises and sparks coming from that general vicinity. But Muffin looks a little mismatched because it's not like Aloy had time to actually find matched bits and pieces. But so Muffin now looks kind of piebald. but Muffin is looking rather less dented and horrible. Is Aloy going to make announcements to that effect?
Yeah, once I've finished that.
She finally looks up from the things she sees. Cassie kind of slumped in a chair, or Reba just going, with her eyes closed, yeah. And Jillian nowhere to be seen. Boop, boop.
I did the fixing!
And Jillian can hear that from her. It probably kind of interrupts her prayer groove. And so she doesn't entirely know if she would have got anything helpful if the yelling hadn't pulled her out of meditative groove. But anyway, and of course, if there's anything still wandering the streets, maybe she didn't want to yell like that. Not that you've heard anything, but still.
We were trying to at least be some semblance of not that loud. Muffin, you look much better. Thank you, Aloy.
Boop, 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 boop. And as you guys don't hear it as clearly as Jillian does, because Jillian is still outside. But that voice still sounds very angry. Rolls over the town again. Good. It wouldn't be much of a challenge for you to come at me damaged. You took a valued ally. Perhaps you will replace him. That's apparently what invitation you're gonna get.
Jillian
It's not even
goes
going to
back.
dignify that with a response. I'm staying silent.
Jillian goes back inside and gives everybody a look.
Cassie just sort of looks up at her like, yeah, I know.
It's time.
Yeah, I know. You're muted, Ethan.
I wasn't actually saying anything. I was just gesturing. Sorry.
Yeah, but it was also lips moving, so. And looks over at Aloy. Ready?
As we're going to get.
I'll try to take the worst of it off you. If he casts anything, that sticks.
The asshole bubble.
That's
Looks
one way to put it.
Well, looks over at Reba. Mama washes my mouth out with soap when I say that word.
Bubble-o stupid.
Probably better. The inconvenience bubble.
I like that one.
But one thing, if you'd known this last time, it might have come out different. Look on the floor. Sometimes these things are symbols. If you can break the symbol, then I won't have to burn the energy.
Huh.
And if he's... And, yeah...
If the symbol's broken or his concentration's broken, depending on where it comes from, look for a symbol first. And if you can't find one, distract him. Pain works. But I'll do what I can until holds up the still glowing heart. until I have to do something about this. Although I might have to try and do something about this first, because I'm the one who can get close to him without him. If you keep watch, it's pretty obvious that I like you all. If I can go in and ask if he'll spare you. Who can throw real well? To be fair, well, who's got the... probably Jillian's got some of the better decks, actually.
Actually, believe it or not, Reba's actually got a +3 to her modifier for it. So I don't know.
Who of them?
Yeah, but to be fair, she uses Array more often.
Yeah, that was the other thing I'm thinking.
And if anybody's going to be handling radiant glowiness, probably
Yeah,
Jillian.
yeah. So
thinking.
yeah, Reba will strongly consider and kind of, and then like think you're the one with the guns more often than I am with the bow and arrow, and it's more your energy than mine anyway. So yeah, Jillian, go to.
I'm just...
You're thinking.
He'll probably sense it if I get up close to him with it.
Mhm.
If I can get close to him and I don't look like a threat, you get in, distract him, toss it at me.
Alright.
I may need your help in more of a pushing capacity, but yeah, anyway. Beyond that, once hopefully we won't have to worry about the rest of it, but I have to get close. Just in case. I know there's probably not going to be very much of a town left. I mean, the structures will still be there, but maybe not so much the people. But the Reverend from down the roadways will probably be able to suggest to some people, if they're brave, that this isn't a bad place. On behalf of them and, my family, because I don't know about running into them again, and talking to the rest of the town probably is never going to happen. Thank you for everything you've done so far and what you intend to do. I know it's hard. I know that preacher man has made it hard, that everything's made it hard, and that the choices have been bad. But you've tried to help. And that means a lot with the world the way it is. I know
Jillian's
that it's
not saying anything.
It scares some people, I know. And people don't understand you, don't trust you. I have to spend a lot of time saying, be not afraid. And they are anyway. And they're going to keep being. And you probably don't get thanked as much as you should, because you're scary or you're different. Or both. So somebody has to say it. So I guess it's going to be me. Everybody needs that sometimes. If for no other reason than I imagine that, okay, calling from God and everything, but it gets hard to carry on if you don't have some light to bear you up.
The floor of the inn that we're in does it have a basement or is it on dirt?
It's got a cellar. It'd have to have some place to store the.
Yeah.
Why?
Reba is going to step outside to where there's some dirt and reach down and druid craft basically
You know you can druid craft plants and things into wood.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it had to be like.
No.
Okay, I didn't know that. I'm still new at that
Yep.
part. Okay,
That's why you ask me.
sorry. In which case, okay.
They might not survive for long, but consider what. I mean, yeah, okay. Fungus and moss can grow on wood and live there for a while, and yeah, okay, the root systems might not be able to survive for very long, but if you're just gonna pick them anyway, which is where I felt you were going with that.
Basically, I'm going to make a small vine of forget-me-not, pluck it, and then tie off the end, and just on Cassie. Thank you.
Come on. Let's get this done. And on that note, since we are about that time, it's very well timed. We will we'll pick up next week with the I don't know if it'll be grand finale so much as a climactic battle with the preacher man, and I have a feeling that I may have just completely screwed any possibility that y'all aren't going to do something stupid to keep Cassie alive, but fuck it. It's what she do. Okay? So we'll see.
Your NPCs.
That's the whole problem. When I make nasty NPCs, y'all hate them, but you love to hate them, so that's okay. I make nice PCs, and you guys will move heaven and earth to keep them alive. Although, if this keeps up the way it's going, I do have some ideas about where that's going to go. So be aware that if you do something stupid, certain questions I had about whether Jillian would be willing to take on an apprentice might come up.
Oh boy.
Miss, you have no one to blame but yourselves if that happens. On that note, I will leave y'all to contemplate what's going to happen next week, and I'll see you then.